Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the SDW Friday Frenzy Race. So we're going to be starting the event in around about 3 minutes time. And this is the second event that's been organised by the Southborough and District Wheelers. So I participated last week. I think I managed to grab myself a 15th place or something on a fairly lumpy course, and this week is no different. We're doing 10 laps of the SDW Velo George Crit. So each lap's about 2.5 kilometers with about 45 meters of climbing. So from the start we'll be gently downhill for the first K or so, and then it climbs back up to the start finish line. And it's a rough sort of oval shape with a bit of a point at each end. Let's cut across to the start line then. Here we are. So currently 70 riders online. Lots of Southborough kits there in the pen. Some familiar names. If we cut across to, there's last week's results. So Alex Plager, Maxime Turcotte and Andrew Larkin were the top three. They were your podium. But this week there's no Alex and there's no Max, so it's all to play for. You can see there the SDW tags 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so in the top 13. So I'm sure some of those guys will be trying to fight for the podium. They've had a bit more practice, so they've had one race under their belts, so I'm sure they'll be a little bit more savvy this week. They'll be a bit more clued up, and I'm sure we're going to see a good battle at the front of the pack. You can see on the average watts per kilo there, Alex Plager was down at 3.61, a whole watt lower than Maxime Turcotte. It just shows what an expert draftsman he is. But that's the skills of the game, and that's what everyone's going to be trying to learn. So let's have a little look at the course profile then. You can see that just along the bottom of the screen there. You can see a few dark blue sections, light blue sections in the first half. So that's all indicating some steep downhill sections. That's pretty much the first kilometre, and then fairly gentle for half a kilometre or so, and then some dark red sections, and it kicks back up towards the start finish line again for 10 laps. So if you are listening, if you are watching, then please feel free to drop a message in the live chat. If you've got any questions about RGT or the race, I'll try and answer them. And at some point I will try and cut across into the Discord channel. I've got Julian Fussell and Simon, the organizer of this event. They're in there, so hopefully we're going to try and catch up with them for a chat sometime during the race. I'll try and do it possibly when they're on the downhill, but we will see how that goes. That's something we've not quite done before on a live broadcast, so it could be a horrible mess. So here we are then. Look at that, everyone's lined up nicely in their rows. 73 riders, and they're off. Oh, I'm not quite off because I wasn't quite paying attention there. So I'm just going to be cruising. These guys are racing. Oh, Alex Plager is in the race. I see he's in there on the start list. So he has made it. So look at that over surge then. These riders getting off to a good start on this fast downhill. A few familiar names. So you can see on the bars there, these names on screen. Yellow bar, red Eboa on the front there. He's still got an orange bar, red bar, he's pushing hard. Whereas Gibbs and Bag, they're sort of green, sometimes blue, showing they're easing up a little bit. So you can see the riders' names over on the left-hand side. I'll be jumping around a little bit, but that'll give you an indication of who is in the race. We hit the bottom of the climb, or bottom of the descent, around that little hairpin at the bottom there. And then we start climbing. So we're already a kilometre into this race then. Here's this front pack. Quite a big group all still together then. 36, 37 riders or so. And also on the left hand side you can see the kits next to the ranking numbers. And you can use that to try and identify some of the riders that are in that pack. So Alex Plager, he's got the black Wattbike kit on and the orange helmet. So he's last week's winner. We're going to be keeping an eye on him. But look at that, there's a good number of SDW kits in there, doing it for local pride. Let's see who else we can pick out in this list. So the GCN kit, that is Mr. Larking, last week's 3rd place rider. You see that we've got Guillaume Toffoli in there. He is a strong sprinter. Daniel Cadiz, he's the rider going off the front here, laying down 6.7 watts per kilo. He is a well-known rider within the RGT community. We've also got Henrik Merd from the Pedalers. I think Jürgen Janssens from the Pedalers is here as well. Cut back through. So this first climb then is making a difference, spreading it out. Good bunch in the middle. Two riders going up ahead. But these guys in the bunch, they're probably just thinking, well, let's stick together. We can sit in, we're going to get a nice bit of draft saving. There's still a long way to go yet. We're only 2 kilometers into this race. Still a lot of descending. No need to panic just yet. I also see Keith Aitchison there, currently in 7th place. He's in the green and blue jersey, the big ring jersey. So up to the top of this circuit then. Oh, little bit of a few bumps on the magic road there. So this group's coming back together then still. So 25 or so have made it into this front bunch. There's Cossil there. Still just slowly climbing back up to that start finish line. So it's going to be an interesting finish. Last week was a downhill finish. This week slightly uphill to that start finish line, and then straight away we're back down into that speedy descent. So let's cut back. Oh, there's me right at the back on the 7% bits. Work our way up then. G. Harris. He's one of the youth riders, as indicated by the Y there after his name. French rider here, Thomas Medioni, with Spanish rider H. Gill there for company. And a bit further up, N. Green, Al Hughes, Yardley, Millwood, Goodman here. So everyone's still got a couple of riders around them for company. This hill has stretched things out, but everyone's got a little target to chase. We see Goodman there, another youth rider just catching up with Sealuch. And you can see just how they're responding slightly differently to that little climb. The colours under their names just indicating how much effort, relative effort they're putting in there. Yellow being threshold, orange and red being a bit more of a sprinting pace, blues and greens a bit more of a relaxed pace. Here's S. Millwood then, just catching Yardley, getting in that slipstream, getting a little bit of a draft, making the most of that downhill. Oh no, they're just crossing the finish line now, they're onto the downhill. Going the wrong way that. So Goodman, look, it's good to see the good number of youth riders out. That's what the Y is, and then a few riders with J, that's for juniors. Hi Paul, Nichols, thanks for tuning in. Hi Roz, hi Philip. So juniors is under 12 and youth is under 16. So that gives you an idea of the age of these competitors. So Thwaites and Stewart. Up in the trees again. Holton and Brennan. So everyone here back on the second time around then, up this climb. Good variety of countries, Danish riders, currently with a Belgian rider, Spanish, Italian, French, Scottish. So a good mix. Here we are, then, a bit more of a bunch. Turner, Hornby, got Hutchison, Pedersen just in front of them. Portuguese and Belgian riders, real mixture. So keep working our way up through the field. Hutchinson there, gaining a couple of places. Another little steady stream of riders here. Look, Faulkner, Ericsson, Rickaby. There's Julian Fussell, currently in 34th place then, and then just above him, ahead of him, another little quintet. Page, Busher, Rob, and T Freak. I'm not sure what that rider's doing right out on the right hand side of the road there, taking the long way around. So still 70 riders online then. With that little cluster, and then working our way back through. There's Simon Miller, 24th place on the downhill. Right, let's see if we can cut across them to those guys. All right, guys, how's it going? Got Julian and Simon here.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing? How brilliant is this?
Well, it's easy for me. I'm just cruising. You guys are racing hard by the looks of it. I can see, Simon, you're in a little group there with is it Ollie Clements? You know,
yeah, I think that was the group we had last week. So true to form, couldn't quite hold the front bunch, but we'll see if we can make any improvement here on the stragglers.
So you're just hitting the bottom of the climb then. Looks like a tough course out there. Get a bit of a, oh, you're just going around to lap me, look. That's how slow I'm going.
It's a tough
Ollie there
one,
with a
though,
little bit
Mike.
of a push off.
How brilliant to be able to race on a local course, though. This is our dream one day that we could get an in real life crit going around something similar to maybe celebrate our 90th anniversary, which comes up next year.
Ah, fantastic.
But, this is the best thing that we've got until then. It's fantastic.
If it all goes ahead, we'll have to get you down for it, Mike, in person.
I say, where's the pub on this course? Is it by the start-finish line?
Right by it, I believe, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah, just at the top after you come around that dodgy left-hander at the top.
Right, at the top of the hill then. You've got to work for your beer.
Yeah, you can smell the hops from there.
Yeah. We had a really excellent cycling cafe for a little while, and now we sort of made the George our home, which is pretty fantastic. It's all about the community at the end of the day, so it's a great place to meet afterwards in normal times.
Oh. What's going on at the front there, Mike?
Well, I'm just cutting up to the front now. So we've got Dave Blodgett on the front with Henrik Maird. So Dave Blodgett, he's one of the Restart Racing riders, so he's definitely got good form. Alex Plager, he's up there as expected. Megan Janssens and Henrik Maird, both from the Pedlars group, and Daniel Cadiz. So you've got a front group of 6, and then about 60 metres back, there's another 7 or 8 or so. So it's broken apart quite a lot, but there seems to be little battles all the way through. So everyone's got someone to chase.
Brilliant. It's great the series has attracted some bigger teams. Love it.
Yeah, today we'll be racing tomorrow in the Echelon series. So that's the Saturday and the Sunday sort of pro level event. So hopefully just using this as a warm up. Hopefully he's going to wear himself out a little bit. That'd be nice.
That would be good. I've heard about it, Mike. Could you tell us a couple of things about the Echelon League?
Yeah, so the Echelon League it's been about, I think it started in October. So it's every few weeks. There's a community series, and then there's also a pro series.
Okay.
And that's sort of at the moment the top level event on RGT.
Wow.
And that's every 3 weeks or so. And the community events, riders in Cat 1 and Cat 2, the top 10 can qualify to then go through to the pro events, which sometimes is it sounds like
Yeah,
it's going to be fun, but it's pretty hard. It really is a good workout, and it does make you lift your game. So I've done a couple of them. I've been fortunate enough to get in there, and yeah, I've got one tomorrow, so I'm taking it steady today.
Good luck.
I need every bit of energy that I can get.
Yeah, I do love that about online cycling. The fact that you can theoretically go up against some of these pros. Amazing.
Well, on Sunday, so tomorrow it's a real world course called the Indy Crit from Indianapolis, which will be about 50 kilometers. But then on Sunday they're using the Dirty Reaver course, and it's 3 laps, so it's 52 kilometers.
Horrendous.
So they're quite long races as well. So.
Yeah. Wow. And how many riders are you getting in there?
So the 50 or so, I think, for the Pro Series, from memory. So yeah, it's teams of 6. So there's 6 or 7 of the main teams, and then a few sort of smaller teams, and then a few of the sort of community riders that qualify.
Lovely.
So,
something for us to aim for as Southbrook Wheelers.
Yeah, they're certainly. Well, I enjoy them because it makes you lift your game, makes you work really hard, but also you get the right course and you can be competitive as well, which is nice.
Yeah. Fabulous.
And of course, we've got the 5-stage Tour of Wales coming up soon, I think, Mike, is it? 5 stages?
Yeah,
how do you say it, Simon?
The Untitled Cymru, possibly
yeah.
I saw that one.
This is going to be excellent. If it recreates any part of what the Tour de Monde did, it'll be fabulous.
So yeah, so Alex Plager, who's up towards the front of this race, he's one of the organisers of that part of the team. So that's been put together by Ratio Racing, and that's a 5-day event which runs from Saturday and Sunday, and I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So there's a time trial to start, then sort of 3 flatter with a couple of lump stages, and then there's I think it finishes with a couple of laps of, I can't remember the name of the hill now. It's quite a well-known.
The Tumble.
That's it, yeah. So yeah, 5 days back to back. That's something different that you can do on RGT that other platforms you're not able to do.
Yeah. No, I think we've got a few teams planned. Dave Bagsley in charge on that one.
Yeah, I think you've got 3 teams or so that I've seen. So you'll have a bit of inter-club competition.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, cheers, guys. I'm going to just cut you off there and let you focus on your racing, because
cheers, Mike.
Races
cheers, Mike.
Quite a bit. So good luck,
if
guys.
you see any, Mike, if you see any James and Wise, our Euston juniors, give them a shout out as you go down the list.
Okay, we'll do. Yeah, we're trying to cover everyone, so hopefully we've got a bit of airtime.
Nice one. Thanks, Mike.
Brilliant. Good luck, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks to Julian and Simon there. So back on the course, Daniel Cadiz then. He's now got a 240-metre lead. He's powered up that last lap up that climb, and he's managed to break away from that front group. Looks like Toffoli, who was in a second group, has come back to join Logic, Larkin, Med, Plager and Janssens. So they're a chasing group of 6 who are trying to catch up with Cadiz. So with the way that this course is, that distance between them will ebb and flow quite a lot. As Cadiz gets into that downhill bit, he'll get away, but then as soon as he hits the uphill, you can see now it's come down to 150 metres. But he's out of sight at the moment. You can't see that chasing pack down the hill. There's a few lap riders down there. And that's one of the things with this circuit, because it's quite a short course and because it's blown apart quite a lot, riders are spread out all across the course, and that's allowing kiddies opportunities to sort of jump from rider to rider, catch a little bit of draft from the rider in front. You can see him here coming up on Verrill. You'll catch a little bit of draft of the overtakes. It's not like a flat crit course where if you're off the front, you're out in no man's lands for most of the time. So I think we can just see that chasing group now just coming into view a little bit. They're now just 120 meters back. So they've gained a little bit of distance on this climb. But as it flattens out and gets steeper again and then goes downhill, that distance will stretch and shrink, the accordion effect as it's known. But Cadiz is doing well at the moment. He's in the hot seat. He's out in front. So next time under the banner, that'll be halfway around. He's already lapping riders here. I think quite possibly I've been lapped twice, but that's just because I'm cruising around. So as we touched upon on that call there with Simon and Julian, we just step back here to Blodgett in second place. He's putting in a bit of an effort and he's come off the front of that chase group. He's now 30 meters ahead. Like he's going to push on and try and get second place here. But as we say, we're only halfway through this race. So another 20 minutes of riding still to go. Now, cheers ZMS, thanks for the comment. Looking good, he says. I'll take that from Mr. Pro Broadcaster ZMS. Oh, round that little bit of dodgy magic road, but that group's come back together then. Plager there looking to sew that group back together, and he pulls the other riders across with him back to Blodgett. And that little group of 6 reforms. But Cadiz now still off the front. As we go under the start banner here, halfway round. So as we just touched upon on that call with Julian and Simon then, this is what's called a magic road within RGT. And that allows event organisers and anyone to create any route that they like. And you can use a program like Strava or Ride with GPS, any of the online mapping tools. And you can recreate your local course or a course from the other side of the world, whatever you want to do. And even some fantasy courses. We've seen some very interesting courses from the community coming forward. And you can then take that course and it will send it off to RGT or be run through the computers, and you'll get a course like this which mimics the real world topography and corners, so you can get a real sense of what it's like to virtually ride any road. So as Simon said on the call, this is one of their local circuits near the Velo George pub, as they've nicknamed it. This is just one of many magic roads that have been created. So Cadiz are now on this lap 200 meters ahead. The last lap he was 150 meters ahead at this point, so looks like he might be putting down the effort. And he's managing to extend his lead at this point. So let's go back a little bit. So here's Omeo in 8th place. He's a little bit ahead of Jay Benions. They're in 8th and 9th. They're looking solid for top 10s at the minute, because they are 100 meters ahead of Eboya and Jay Curry, and then behind them they've got P-Jerts, who is in 12th place. So those three fighting for a top 10 finish. And a bit behind them, another little group of Moss, Fraser, Cameron. They're inside the top 15 then, up inside the top 25% of the race. And then a bit behind them, Keith Aitchison, Jay Baroob, Hilt, Neil, Clements, Bag, So another little group. So all throughout the course, little groups forming. Best and Tully riding together, 22nd, 23rd. Then here's quite a big little group then. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? Quite a big little group. So we've got Miller, Cossil, Kingham, Page, Busher, and Rob Ericsson trying to get into this group. So these guys are doing quite well, working together. They'll be getting a bit of draft saving. They'll be able to get their speed up on that downhill section. And this uphill section, even on this 1 or 2%, if they keep their speed up, they'll get some fairly good draft saving by sheltering behind the person in front. But when you get onto those steeper red sections, the speed drops away and that draft saving does drop off to single-digit watt savings. And that's where you've got an opportunity, if you're a stronger rider, to push on. These guys are probably content working together at the moment, lapping around. By every lap, it sort of stretches out a little bit on that hill, stretches out on those corners, comes back together a little bit. So I hope you've enjoyed tuning in. We do try to cover quite a few events on the channel. Often if I'm racing, then I'll just be streaming myself, my position in the race, and giving a little bit of chat as I go and trying to explain a little bit about RGT and what I'm doing in my race and tactics. Give a little bit of insight. And then sometimes we do events like this where we cover other races, try and give a bit of exposure to different clubs and different events. It's quite good because I can just soft pedal in the background, have an easy day, let all these guys do the hard work. I think I'm only on lap 4 and our leaders are up on lap 6, maybe even lap 7 now. So they're lapping at around about 4 minutes per lap. Here's Julian then, who we were on the team radio with earlier. He's got K-Tev just behind him there, look in the yellow, French rider, trying to close him down. Like Julian's just managed to pull away a little bit there, stretch that 10 meters back out to 20 meters on this slightly flatter section, sort of midpoint up this climb. He's chasing down Pedersen and Rickaby just ahead of him. So apparently 60 meters there they are, just up the road. There's nowhere really on this course to hide. You can relax on the downhill, but even then there's opportunities to push and gain a few meters. And then this uphill, you really have to work the whole way. Right, back to the front then. There we are, Daniel Cadiz. He's only got 7.8 kilometers remaining. He's on lap 7 of 10. He's absolutely been cranking it up. 300 meters now ahead of that chase group. He's in the red numbers, look, 6.5 watts per kilo. The red bar there under his name, shows he's really working hard. Slight breather around that hairpin corner. And even then, it's still uphill for these final few hundred meters up to the line. If I get down low, you can see climbing, and then it just about levels off just here, about 50 meters before the line, before we then start on this descent. So if we jump back then, this little chase group, Janssens, Larking, Med, Plager, Logic, Toffoli, all pretty much still there. It's slightly strung out. Jansen's just putting in a little bit of an effort there, just to pull off the front. Put this group of 5 in behind, and possibly a lap ride of, oh, that's Toffoli to the left of Larking. You can see them here. Because they get that slingshot effect, they can pick up their speed a little bit with a bit of slipstream in. And they've brought Jansen's back. But the finish line is at the top. So if Jansen can repeat that on the final lap, then he's going to be in a good position. But at the moment, it looks like these guys, with less than 3 laps to go, are going to be fighting for second and third. I think it's going to take something special from this point to bring Daniel Cadiz back. We'll get an indication in a minute if these guys hit the bottom of the descent and hit that hairpin, just how far Cadiz is ahead. So from this point, it's only about 1.5 kilometers to the line. Cadiz is 300 meters ahead of them. That's going to take a super effort. So leave that to the last lap. That's going to be far too much. You need to be chipping it away with 4 laps to go. They're not going to gain much on that descent. There's no flat sections really where they can get into a TTT position and take turns hitting 5 or 6 watts per kilo, whilst Cadiz is at 4, 4.5. It seems like this course might just suit the power profile of Cadiz. 3 minutes, solid effort up, 1 minute recovery. Very much a sort of intervals type course. Very good workout routine, I imagine, on this course. These guys now all hitting those red numbers, all pushing each other. And they're not attacking each other here. They're all just, I think, trying to help close that gap. Everyone pretty much staying in the mix then. Around about 6 or 7 watts per kilo on this slightly steeper section. It levels off a few hundred meters. And another slightly steeper section up to that final hairpin. So it'll be interesting to see. We've got Maird and Janssens, whether we're going to get any team tactics from those 2 guys. They might have a bit of an opportunity to send one up the road a little bit. But I think on a course like this, it's probably just every man for himself. Such an undulating course. As once again, we see this time round Logic, Maird, Plager, Larkin, just creating a bit of separation to Toffoli and Janssens. We could see that on other laps where some riders were up a bit off the front of this group. They hit that corner. Might be that just those front couple of riders just wanting to push hard up the steep bit and then maybe just ease off on the flat a bit, whereas other riders are a bit more consistent with their riding. Okay, we'll come back to these guys in a minute. Head back down the field a little bit. We've got Mio and Benians here in 8th and 9th. So it looks like Benians has closed what was a 30 or 40 meter gap. Back to Mio. Oh, look at that. Must have heard us on the commentary. He's putting a little dig there just to come over the top of Mio. Look at that. He's now putting a little bit of distance into him up that climb. Those guys have got 2 laps left to go, 2 and a little bit. And then back to what is a group of 6 riders by the looks of it. Good number of SDW riders in here. Got Jerts, Bag, oh sorry, no, Bag's a bit further back. Curry, Fraser, Bowyer. little bit of inter-club or intra-club competition going on there. Hey, Cameron trying to spoil the party. So that's all come back together into a little group then. Good to have Glenn Whittington on the watching the stream as well. Thanks for tuning in, Glenn. So Glenn is one of the sponsors of this event and the owner of the 8 Bike Collective, based in the local area to Southborough. I think they've put up a couple of prizes for a couple of bike reviews. Take your bike in, have it looked over, a bit of a clean up, go out for a group ride, a couple of coffees and beers. So that's a random raffle prize, which I think will go to one random competitor who's entered one of the races. All the details on the Southborough website. So check out the details of that on Facebook or the Discord channel. Simon Miller's doing a great job of promoting and publishing information about that. All right, we'll leave these guys for the minute then. I'm going to jump back to the front with Daniel Cadiz. Is coming up that climb for the penultimate time. He's under 3 kilometers to go. He's got a healthy lead of 380 meters. He comes around the hairpin. You can see he's lapped a lot of the field. He's coming up on Jay Page, who's in 29th place. So there was 70 odd starters. Cadiz has managed to lap half the field. That's a sterling effort by him. As he goes under the start finish line for the penultimate time. 2.5k for him. And then here's the chase. They are now coming up to that hairpin. Looks like Janssens has fallen back out of that group. So we've got Plager, Toffoli, Henrik Maird, Larking and Blodgett. And they're pushing for podium places. Larkin and Plager, they were 3rd and 1st respectively last week. So they're looking to claim further podium places in this SDW Friday frenzy. They get a little bit of respite then on this descent. I don't think we're going to see too many games from these guys. I think it's going to be pretty much down the hill to the bottom hairpin. Probably sit in a little bit for the first 500 meters. And then attack on that first climb. See what damage is done. And then they're going to probably push hard up that second climb for the final hairpin, and whatever they've got left, sprint for the line. They're just hitting a little bit of traffic here. Might just give them a little bit of extra draft, a little bit of extra respite. But you want to be careful that you don't get caught on the outside around a corner. So Larking and Toffoli in the money seat at the minute. If he's 360 meters up the road, he's got a kilometer to the finish line. We will cut to him to see him cross the line because he is the deserving winner. He deserves that coverage. But this is where the action is happening. Back the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place. You can see them there just coming up to the first of these steeper elements. Are we going to see a real big punchy attack? Someone trying to snap the elastic early? Or are they going to wait for the second climb? They're just touching above 8 watts per kilo. Ease back off a little bit. So we're still in 6 and 7s. Dropping down to 5s. That's what we've seen on most laps. So no one really pushing just yet. So they're all safely together up that first one. Onto the... Well, it's still 3.5% gradient just here in the middle section of the climb. Alright, here's Khadiv's then just coming up to that final hairpin. Well-deserved winner. So from that hairpin is 220 meters to the line. Oh, back in the trees. So that little group, they're all still together. Cut back to Khadiv's and there he is. Crossing the finish line as we start to see 10s and 11s behind him. Well done, Khadiv's. Great effort there, and I'm going to cut straight back because these guys are coming round the corner, around that slightly awkward corner. The sprints are on. Plager sitting in behind Med. Logic's going now. Med in second. Has he gone too soon? Has he got enough to hold these guys off? Oh, that's a... Ooh. So, looks like Logic taking second then. Plager in third. Med in fourth. Foley fifth. And Larkin sixth. Med just went a little bit too soon there, I think. The other two just had a little bit of draft. Just managed to come over the top of him. And here's Janssen then. Managed to hold on with that group for 8 laps. He's going to come over in 7th place. And looking a bit further down, looks like Mio has managed to put some distance into Benians. Then we'll be going back to that fight for 10th place. Got 6 riders, currently 500 meters further down the course. So there's Janssen's then, he's going to pick up 7th. Mio rounding the hairpin, he's going to take 8th. Here's Benians, he's going to take 9th, he's coming up to that hairpin. Here's our next little group of action then. So we've got Fraser putting in a dig off the front. Boa trying to catch up. Barub, Cameron, Curry, Moss, and Jers just falling off the back of this group, not quite able to get in. There's Fraser. Curry closing on him. He's going to catch him before the line. Going to come over the top. He's going to take that 10th then. Fraser in 11th, Moss 12th, Cameron 13th. Barub in 14th, Boya 15th. Here's Jets coming across in 16th. There's Keith Aitchison, 17th place. He's got a healthy 100 meter lead over Bag, who's just 20 meters ahead of Ollie Clements, the youth rider. He's in a little triplet with with Neil and Hilt. So here's Bag then. He's got 30 meters on these 3 guys behind. 20 meters. They're pushing hard. They're in the red numbers. You can see Neil's just about to come across. Oh, terrible for Bag. He's just going to fall away here at the last. And has he got enough to hang on to the top 20? Oh, that's just up the road then. He's Neil and Hilt. Hilt has just come flying past Neil there, up to the line. 18th, Neil in 19th, and here's Clements and Bag. Clement with a little push just to take that top 20th ahead of Bag. There's Busher just pushing on ahead of Ericsson. Best will take 24th, the Northern Irish rider. And then Simon Miller, the event organiser, with a nice little sprint there ahead of Tully to round out 25th. So lots of riders then still out on course. Getting a nice overview of the course from up high. See there the gradient. So let's cut across to, there we go, that's last week's stage results. There we go. Let's cut across to this week's results then. We'll just pull those up. So probably a few familiar names there you will recognise in this week's results. So Daniel Cadiz then taking the win. Very solid, 24 seconds ahead of Dave Blodgett in second, followed by Alex Plager taking third place. He was last week's winner, so another solid podium for him. Henrik Maird in fourth, and Guillaume Toffoli in fifth place, followed by Larkin, last week's third place rider, finishing 7 seconds down from that front five. He just slipped off the back a little bit in that final sprint to the line. Jürgen Janssens in seventh, Mio in eighth, Bennions in ninth, and then James Curry, the best of the SDW riders, in 10th place. Very efficient there, 3.43 watts per kilo, half a watt per kilo lower than Ali Fraser in 11th and Tom Moss in 12th. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We'll hang around for a bit longer. Pick up some of these other riders who are still out on course. And quite a spread of riders still. 27 still out here. Great numbers, 66 in total, still going, or completed. There's a good overview. You can see the hill on the other side, sweeping down into that bottom hairpin, then back up on this side. So lots of SDW shirts still out there. Bolton, Stewart and Goodman, Dave Brennan. Just got one lap to go now. S. Williams on the downhill of the final lap. So great effort by everyone today. So it looks like a good number of the riders have finished then. Oops. Bear with me as I scooch through these finished riders. So here's Benetto. They're going to be the next rider in. They've got 350 meters to go. They've got F Ledger 60 meters behind them. I think they'll run out of road. So they're pushing hard. This could be a bit of a battle. Look at that Ledger up over 10 watts per kilo there. There's Benetto sit 3. He's got 30 meters to go. Did I speak too soon there? Looks like Ledger's coming back strongly. See him, there he is. He's pushing, he's trying to get across. Looks like he might do it. 150 meters to go. A great bit of closing by Ledger there. Being competitive right to the end. Strong finish by him there then. So Ledger and then Benetto over in 45th. And then here's Duffy a little bit further back. Coming across in 46th place. Cheers, Simon. Well done, good ride. Good numbers again this evening. Hopefully everyone's getting a little bit of coverage as well. A few riders whose name I'm sure I've mispronounced. So SDW Sting coming across in 47th. And then we've got the Danish rider Koch coming across 48th. Just lapped Thomas Medioni, who's got one more lap to go after this. So most riders almost finished then. Another 5 or 6 minutes or so. So flat one next week then. I was a roundabout at the top. Well, I don't think it affected things too much. It's the same for everyone. It looks a bit funny on the course, but everyone's got to go around it. So Cook across in 49th. Little battle to the end here between Rod and Verrill. Rod just taking it ahead of Verrill. And then the next rider in will be S. Williams in a couple of minutes' time. Still about 500 meters back. If you've got a link, Simon, then put it in the comments once this video is finished. Don't put it in the live chat. If you put it in the comments afterwards, then that will be easy for people to click on, and that will take them straight through to the donation page. And yes, thanks to 8 Bike Collective. Again, if you want to post a link to more information under the video, then people will be able to check in and find that. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And then you'll be notified about upcoming events. So sometimes covering my own races, sometimes covering other people's races. Look at that great overview of the course there. So another 10 riders or so still to finish. So next week's course then is a flat 10-mile individual time trial up and down the very amazing A21. Great road. Sure there'll be a lot of good scenery to look at. So there isn't a point series for this, just weekly individual glory. And I think there's 8 races in total. There's a couple of TTs. I think one's going to be a mass start, one's going to be an individual style TT. So it looks like perhaps Brennan will be the next rider over. Green just ahead of them. Well, hopefully I've managed to cover everybody, give everyone a little bit of screen time. When we do these community broadcasts, like to get everybody on screen. So Goodman there. Just managing to, oh, just lost a bit of effort there, but no, he's coming back. So one more lap for Millwood and Weavers, and then 2 more laps for Hughes. So I'm getting lapped again. I've stopped riding now. With the spectate tool, you do have to keep pedaling a little bit, otherwise after 30 minutes of inactivity you do get booted out. So here's Thwaites. Lutch, who's on their final lap. A little battle here then, 58th and 59th position and 57th. So let's just follow this to the end and then I'm going to call it quits on the broadcast. So we've got Poulton, SDW rider, up in 57th. He's got a 25-metre gap ahead of Gill here, the Spanish rider, and Homas Medioni, the French rider, as they round the final hairpin / roundabout. Gill is putting down a little bit of effort. Oh, and Homas Medioni's responding. Looks like Poulton's 30 metres up the road. Looks like he might hold on here for 57th. But Gill's putting in a bit of a sprint. Homas Medioni not able to respond. Good to see everyone battling all the way to the end then. Everyone in their own race. Doesn't matter where you are. Whether you're at the front, at the back, in the middle. Everyone's fighting for some personal glory. Fantastic stuff. Oh, there is a point series. I do beg your pardon. So Philip Riley's just informed me via the chat. So that's being hosted on the SDW website. And that's just waiting for all the riders to come in before he collates that. You can scratch me off. I won't be finishing. Done with my pedaling for the day. So Lutch is going to be the next rider over, and then there's Thwaites, Millwood, Weaver and Hughes still out on course. But they're not far behind, they'll be here soon enough. So that's Lutch over. And so yeah, that's 460 metres of climbing in total on today's course. Yeah, a good number of competitions as well, something for everyone. There's an Open Championship, SDW Championship, Women's, over 45s, Youths, which is under 16s, and then Juniors, which is under 12s. So as we follow Thwaites there up to the finish line, junior rider. It's good to have Simon and Philip there in the chat, being able to give me a bit of insight into some of these riders. I'm not sure if Thwaites is a club member, but he has acknowledged that he is a junior. A nice bit of exercise on a Friday evening. So they're coming over in 61st. So do check out the rgtdb.com website. That will have results from a lot of races on RGT. Also covers sign-ups for future races. It's a good source of info. And there's a link in the ride description that will take you through to the website. And also come join us on the Discord channel. So there's text chatting and voice chatting. And there's a good amount of info on there. There's a place for finding out general info. There's sections for about help on magic roads, general feedback. And then there's also different categories for the different types of racing. So there's masters racing, mountain goats racing, which is a climbing competition, track racing. So Simon and crew, you need to get some teams into the team time trial. Get them doing some drafting. There's Millwood and Weaver. Oh, up in the trees again. So they're just coming around now. They've got the last little bit to go. So Weaver just finishing strongly. Then Millwood, and then it'll be Hughes, the junior rider. They've got another lap to go. So we'll just watch Millwood across the line, and then I'm going to sign off for the day. Go grab myself something to eat, some pasta, fuel up for tomorrow's riding. So thanks a lot for joining us. Millwood inside the last 100 meters then. I'm going to sign off with the commentary that I will leave the video on to follow Hughes around the last couple of laps. There they are. Cheers everyone, and I will leave you following Hughes for the last lap and a little bit. I'm going to sign off the commentary now and hope to catch you all again soon.